Welcome back, everybody. In this video, we'll go over some unwrapping techniques and how we're going to unwrap our low poly model. So I wanted to show you how to do maybe a couple, maybe just one or two unwrapping, and that technique will be applied throughout the whole entire process. So something that I like to to note is I won't be showing you every single unwrapping. I'll actually just speed up the video because otherwise you'd be watching a little too much. It'll just be very time consuming and not much fun to see. So I'm going to start off by unwrapping our just the bottom here. Let's see. I'm going to select everything except for the base. Actually, I could just go ahead and just isolate this base. Okay. So you'll notice that when you look at this base, it says no bottom. And the reason it doesn't is because you'll never see the bottom, so therefore I didn't want to use the polygons to fill that bottom if they weren't going to be seen, but also that allows us to have more room for other textures, for those other textures that will be seen. So when you start off by texturing, a good method I like to do, I like to work my smoothing groups first. So if you look here, you can see there's these kind of hard edges all along. That's because there's no smoothing groups applied to this. I mean, if your wireframes look just fine, but without it, you'll see where kind of wireframe should be. So if you're to go to your polygon selection, there's a tab called Polygon Smoothing Groups, and each channel you can apply a smoothing group. So for example, anything that's, if I were to let's say if I were to just select this whole ring, and I want to say this is smoothing group number 1. So now you see it looks nice and smooth because anything that's within that ring will try to appear smooth together. So if I were to make everything smoothing group 1, you'll see we have these really kind of weird rolling edges all the way up. And that's not what I want. So I'm going to go ahead, I will make everything one smoothing group, and then I want to break them up using smoothing group number 2, but I'm going to break them up here, this top curve and this curve right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by selecting these two. I'm going to just turn off 1 and put on 2 for that. So now if we were to go hide it, you'll see we have kind of an edge right there. And I'm going to do the same thing. Oops. I'm just going to select all these. Okay. Grow 1. So I just want to only select this rounded corner here, or this rounded kind of edge, and then I'm going to turn off the 1 and turn on smoothing group number 2. So now, if you were to look at it, you'll see it looks a lot smoother. So it's the same thing as we had. The only difference now we are applying smoothing groups. So the nice thing about using smoothing groups is that later on, when you come in, you can now, if I want to set shape, try my UV Unwrap modifier, and it will automatically, so now if you were to go to explode, you can flatten by smoothing groups, and we just assign those smoothing groups. So what it'll tell it is, anytime that it notices two different smoothing groups touching each other, it will create a seam there. So as you can see, we have our seams are right along where those edges of the two smoothing groups are. So if I just turn on my checker pattern, It looks pretty nice. The top part looks like it's exactly what we want. And so that's good. I'm just going to move this to the side because we won't be messing with that for right now. But if you notice the sides, it looks really great on the front, but not on the side here. And the reason is because right now it doesn't have an end. As you can see, there's no place where this kind of edge ends because it just goes on in a circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab these two and I'm going to break them. So by breaking them, this means just putting a seam in there so that they can have an edge. Now what I want to do, okay, so now I'm just going to, after I broke them, I'm going to flatten them out again just with my straighten selection. And I think I want to do a relax modifier. Okay. So relax modifier worked a little bit, not quite as well as I wanted it to. So I'm just going to try to select this and do a quick peel. And that quick peel looks like it actually did what I wanted to do. The same thing here, do a quick peel there. And now what we have are these two top portions. So because this is kind of a weird, like almost 45-degree angle that's curving, I believe I want to do a planar map. So a planar map is going to project. So imagine it as if you're projecting straight down, and anything at C is going straight down on the Z-axis, it will map it that way. So if I were to map it from the Y-axis, it would map straight across. Anything it sees from that view, it will be how it will perceive the map. Okay, so now you see we have our checker pattern there, going straight down. We have on the sides and on the top. And you may notice that it looks a little bit disproportionate. So like these checkers are bigger than these, but much smaller than these here. So what we're going to do is we're going to select everything. We want to pack them. So when you're packing them, you're rescaling it. You can rotate it. And so I like to do pack custom personally. And I like to just put pack into 0.01, rotate clusters, fill holes. This is the way I like to pack mine. Okay, so now you'll see this pattern here looks much closer in size to all these other ones. So I think I'm pretty content with this. I do notice that, let's see. Okay, and so it's that the shape of these two look like they're a little bit strange. Just seems a little bit off as far as proportionally. So I'm gonna try to relax them again. That doesn't seem to be doing much for me. Okay. So I just wanted to match this shape a little better, so therefore when they line up a little nicer. I'm just gonna select this one, do the same thing. I want to relax this. Okay, it's not quite what I want it to be yet, but we are getting closer. There you go. That looks. This is more what I was hoping to have. Let's see if I need to. Okay. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to select this for my planar map. And so this is, I just need to reset the mapping gizmo to make it the correct direction. And then once I did that, I can then relax. Like so. Okay, so I'm going to select everything I got and pack them all together. So now you'll see we have uniformed looking squares that that are throughout the whole object. Okay, so what I can do now is I'm just going to convert this out of poly, and I'm actually going to hide this one because we are now complete with that. And so I just like to hide them once they're done so I can know that I don't need to do more work to it. So for this glass one, this is really simple. I'm just going to select everything here, put one smoothing group, unwrap this one, let's see, I can just relax it. And there you go. So now it should look like that. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to now, I'm just going to pack this into this. Alright, there you go. So again, I'm going to convert that to L poly and then just hide the glass. So now let's look at something that perhaps is a little bit more unique. So if we were to want to do, let's say, these fan blades. Now what we could do, and actually I think I did this when I was modeling, it's not a bad idea to do while you're modeling this process. So what you'll see here is, I select these real quick. These really should look identical. There's no reason why you need to unwrap this 6 different times and show it in ways 6 different spaces. What we can do here is actually just stack them on top of each other. So, as I said, I've already done this one in a previous, or while I was modeling it. But if you were to look here, if I were just to select just this one, it's actually 6 of these are layered on top of each other. So, if you were to pull each one of these apart, you'll see there are 6 different versions. Now, there's no reason why we want to have, we don't need all this for the model. That's wasted a lot of space. So what we're doing, we are going to just put them all on top of each other. So let me go ahead and show you how I did that. The good practice here is to just do one. So you start off the same process. What I did is I selected all my faces, made it to the one smoothing group, and I know that I just need it to be right here. Oops, right here needs to be the edge, so I made that smoothing group too. So like so, and then what I did is I came in here with my unwrap modifier, and I was able to unwrap this just with the flatten by smoothing groups. I need to tweak this a little bit. Need to just flatten that out. So now we have our smoothie group. So really what we could even do is, now I think about it, we really don't need these back polygons, because you'll never actually see those. I mean, they're right against the fan, or the machine itself. So we can delete those. Now we'll go back to here. Oops. Need to make sure I select the model itself. Okay. And just like that, we have our whole model unwrapped. So now that we have that one unwrapped, we can just simply duplicate this how we did earlier. So I'm going to try my snap. Oops. I believe we want it to be 60 degrees 5 times. Okay. I'm just going to attach these all back together. And so typically you'll unwrap just the one before you do them all, because what's going to happen is now all 6 of these have the same UV shell, and they are all literally overlapped on top of each other. So if I were to go here, and I'm just going to open my editor and show you, all 6 of these now are wrapped, and they have the exact same. So if I were to draw on this one here with my texturing software, it will draw on all 6 of these, because it's like if I were to draw over here, it'll draw on all 6 again. So if I were just even select like this one polygon, you'll see all 6 polygons, because there's 6 versions of this overlapping on top of each other right now. So that's a quick way to save space, but also to just if you need to unwrap several things at once, this is the way you do it. And so I'm going to hide this. I'm going to go back to my isolation view, and then if you notice here, I've actually already done that same technique to these. So I just worked on one, and then I unwrapped them all, and then simultaneously then I copied them after the fact. Now they all have the exact same unwrap, and so that's just a good technique to keep in mind while actually modeling. So I can actually get rid of these side vents, as those are already completed. So one last piece I'll show you guys how I unwrapped was this here. So I know that I'll never see, I want this both to look the same, but also I understand that never will they see this side and this side simultaneously. You know, it's just, you can't have, the same view. So what I did is I actually split this right down the middle. As you see the seam here, I split it in half, and I just textured this side only. So texture side only. Once I finished texturing that side, I just mirrored it over here. So now anytime, if you were to look at my shell, anytime I were to draw on, let's say if I were to draw on this, you'll see it's on both sides, just like that. Or if I were to draw on these polygons here, again, it's on either side. So this could be, so now if I were to put my logo, let's say if I want to put my logo for the soda machine right there, you only have to put the logo on one time, and it will appear on both sides. So by layering up texture maps, it's going to really help you save a lot of texture space, but then also just save you a lot of time. So with that done, I believe that that should be more than enough kind of direction. So I'm just going to go ahead and unwrap the rest of this model on my own, and then I will come back in the next video and show you kind of what's the next steps.